continue. Reflection.
Oh, god damn it. We still got others to go.
Deal with it.
Am I bothering you?
Yes.
Okay, just checking. I'll leave now. It's hard to tell since you always look so into it when you're reading. It makes me scared to interrupt.
Well, it's within my expectations to be interrupted when I read here. It's mainly when I'm by myself that I don't like it.
That makes sense. I guess if you're here in the first place, then you're more ready to socialize, even if it takes a little bit of prodding.
It's not so bad to be social if I let others do the work, so it can be healthy to put myself in a social environment every now and then. It's mostly difficult when I don't know anyone, or there are too many people, or everyone is being too silly for me to keep up with. Yuri glances around the room. Yuri glances across the room at Sayori and Natsuki. Sayori has her head cocked back and her mouth open, trying to catch pieces of a cookie that Natsuki is lobbing up into the air, but the pieces keep bouncing off her face and hitting the floor.
Maybe I should say something.
Is it that I could have read that better? Because I really should have. No need. They just ran out of cookie. What a waste.
Huh. So that's what they mean by when the cookie crumbles. They've really become good friends, haven't they? I'm happy.
Sayori seems particularly good at making that happen, but the two of them are both the energetic side, so I suppose it works out well.
Yeah. Come to think of it, you and I haven't had many chances to talk one-on-one, have we? Though, that may be partially my fault, since I'm supposed to be the one engaging club members.
Not at all. I have probably formed a habit of drawing minimal attention to myself. The responsibility is equal on me, at least to display some openness to engage.
Well, what about during times like lunch? Do you meet up with friends?
I just read.
So the book is your friend?
But I like it that way. Wait, no. It feels nice to be carried off again after a morning of classes.
So you're telling me that you read a book even during class? Wow. Do you always read fantasy?
Oh, not always. I suppose it's all I've read recently, but only because I'm in the middle of the series. There are still 2 more books after this one.
I guess those long books suit you well, since you spend so much time reading.
Well, fantasy may be my favorite, but after that I'm more or less indiscriminate to genres. I'll read anything with depth and maturity.
Oh yeah? Even like romance?
Well, there are a lot of books that have elements of romance in them.
Oh, come on, Yuri. You know what I mean.
Monika lowers her voice.
You know what I mean. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, so I won't tell anyone if you do.
Would you stop talking creepy?
She said she spoke quietly!
Well, maybe. More when I was in middle school. I mean, I was really lonely and people were mean to me a lot. So it kind of felt like, please don't make me think about the past.
Sorry, I just got super curious. You know, we should totally pick out a romance novel to read. That would be so much fun.
Absolutely not.
Really? Even if it was just between us?
Try asking someone who has no shame, like Natsuki.
Ouch. Low blow, Yuri.
Sorry, I swear I didn't mean that.
Well, I guess it was my fault for pressing you. I'm like that for things in my past, too. You know, things I feel too embarrassed to re-experience. Or re-experience.
There's nothing wrong with growing out of things. It happens to everyone. For instance, Natsuki's interest in manga reminds me quite a bit of how intense I used to be about my own interests. It makes me think that she'll likely grow out of it, too.
Hey, were you talking about me?
No, we were just...
Oh, we were just talking about how our interests have changed over the years. When did you get into manga, Natsuki? Like a couple of years ago, I guess. I was already sort of into it before that, but I wasn't really...
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, I accidentally hit enter.
But I wasn't really going hard until then. What? Maybe I shouldn't have read that.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah? What was it that inspired you to get more into it? I don't know. I guess, let me think. It was after I discovered a series that I really like. Yeah, I was just like really fed up with a lot of things, and I got super into this one series that I really related to. I guess I had an edgy phase where I just hated everyone around me and wanted to be by myself. Hey, kind of like Yuri.
Monica. She's right though.
Sorry.
She's right though.
She's not wrong.
That's completely wrong. So
it's still cool that you both really found your thing. They're almost like opposites, but it sounds like they've helped you a lot through hard times. You know it, girlfriend! Wow, what the heck? Is that book even bigger than the last one you were reading?
It's technically slightly longer, but not by very much.
How high do you think it would go if you stacked up the whole series?
Natsuki estimates by holding her hand high above her head, sizing up an imagery stack.
I should get one of those mangas that's like 50 volumes long so that I can say I've read more than you. Not that I have money for that.
Please, that would hardly count when your books only have a few words per page.
I know, I was just joking. I could never actually read books like yours. It's too boring for me. Oh boy.
Yuri shoots a glare at Natsuki. It's not boring.
Chill. I said for me, not for you. I can have my own opinion. I just think it's too convoluted.
Convoluted.
Sayori, are those from the floor?
Oh god, don't eat that. Don't eat off the floor. Gross.
Gross. Also, wash your hands before touching any of my books. But oh wait, I'm voicing like 2 characters already. Hang on, you need to voice Sayori.
But my hands aren't dirty.
Just do it. The oils are there, even if you can't see them.
Fine.
I can't believe she ate the cookie off the floor.
The germs and stuff. Jesus.
Oh my god.
Sayori trots out of the door and Natsuki follows.
That was so disgusting of Sayori. Also, Yuri, you look a little upset.
What kind of nerve does she have to call my hobby boring?
Sorry, I got a message from Kit. Well,
okay.
She did correct herself.
Hardly. She was so condescending. I don't mind if she thinks it's not for her. I already understand that it's not for everyone. But she knows how much these mean to me. So how about just leaving me alone instead of needlessly telling me that the things you hate about it?
I'm sorry, Yuri. You may be right. This won't be the last time people have strong feelings about what they like and don't like. Especially in the literature club. So I should figure out how to meditate discussions to keep them positive.
Mediate.
Mediate? What?
Yeah, it's mediate, not meditate.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
That's okay.
For the record, I've always been impressed by the level of creativity in your books, and also your ability to get through them so quickly. What's your secret?
I really am the grammar police, Jesus Christ.
No, I misread that wrong, don't worry.
Thank you.
Okay, well, this is something that I'll have to think about and revisit. I'm sure I can help Natsuki find some common ground with you.
Common ground isn't necessary. I just wish to be respected.
That then. Either way, I'll do my best.
I'm skeptical when it comes to Natsuki. I trust you, Monika, but I'm skeptical.
You need to stop reading those skeptical books, Yuri.
I don't like the word skeptical anymore.
Alright, what about atmosphere?
I love atmosphere!
Okay, everyone. We have a special club meeting today.
The British are coming?
Oh, come on! Too soon!
I was just referring to, like, Paul to Paul Revere telling everybody that the British are coming in the revolution.
British are coming! The British are coming!
Yes, that's what I was referring to.
As you know, the Literature Club is a place where we can get to share things that we're really passionate about. But that also means we should be mindful of how we respond to each other's feelings. I think we have a chance to turn our differences into positive energy for each other. Are you being a little dramatic about this? This is important to me, Natsuki. Well, sorry, princess. I just feel like I'm being accused or something.
Well, excuse me, princess.
No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. Sorry if I came off that way. Yeah, her strict stare didn't just show that she was accusing someone.
That or she's just being serious, but like, no, this is not about anybody. This is just about me.
But our conversation yesterday made me reflect on the power of language, and I thought it would be a good topic for the Literature Club, don't you think? I'm sure we're going to keep having differences and opinions a lot, so I need to make sure we're prepared to keep a positive atmosphere at the club. You like atmosphere, right, Yuri?
I love atmosphere.
If you say so. Sure. The cool thing about language is that it gives us a lot of different ways to express the same idea or emotion. We have a lot of control over how we want the other person to feel when receiving our thought. This goes for poetry, narratives, casual conversation, basically everything. For example, Sayori, what's your favorite food?
I have them organized by category. Should I start with snacks, or do you mean full meals? Or should I include breakfast?
Oh, jeez.
Ask her a different question, please.
Okay, how about your favorite fruit?
That's easy. Cherries.
You sound slightly far.
No. Grapes. No. Bananas. No. Watermelon. I can't decide.
Really? I always thought cherries tasted nasty.
I turn on a light. What? Cherries are delicious!
Whoa.
It's delicious! It's delicious!
Oh, that's a pretty strong reaction.
Well, I just don't understand how somebody could think cherries are nasty. I don't like cherries.
How does that make you feel?
I don't know. Sad?
Defensive, maybe?
Yeah, I got defensive.
See, the reason you had such a strong reaction wasn't just because I don't like cherries. It's because you felt like your opinion was under attack. But that's weird, right? Something like taste is completely subjective. But when I say something like, I think cherries taste nasty, I'm using objective language. I'm challenging Sayori's reality that cherries are delicious with my own, which is that... Oh my god, I feel like I'm in fucking school. Which is that
Keep reading.
are nasty. Wait, hold on. How is that objective when you just said it was your only your own opinion? It has to do with our brains interpret with words. You're talking about the reality of cherries, not your feelings about them. Like Sayori. Let's rewind for a second and pretend I didn't tell you that I think cherries are nasty.
Good.
Wow. So, what if instead of that, I said, like, I tried cherries and they're not for me. It's not the kind of flavor I enjoy.
Well, that's fine, as long as you don't call them nasty. Nasty is a nasty word.
Yes, this floor is floor.
Try saying that 3 times fast.
Yes, this floor is floor. Okay.
This floor is floored.
So cherries was kind of a weird example, but I think it gets...
This writing is right.
This candy bar is a candy bar.
This candy is, in fact, candy. Okay, anyways.
This cookie is now in Sayori's mouth after she ate it on the floor.
You read that, right?
I'll just read it again. Okay, so cherries was kind of a weird example, but I think it gets the point across. This time around, instead of talking about the cherries, I just talked about my feelings, and Sayori didn't get defensive. So instead of clashing with each other, it's like we received an invitation to talk about our differences. Yeah, try getting that to work in real life, lady. Yuri, you don't need to take notes. I'm not going to quiz you or something. She was taking notes.
She was taking notes. I know that. I was just...
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. You can do whatever you like. But does anyone have any thoughts so far? Yeah, I just feel like I shouldn't have to put all my language through a filter just to protect someone's feelings. Well, you don't have to. The choice is yours on how you want to come across to other people. I'm only suggesting it as a tool to help turn your differences into a positive experience, rather than an argument. Right, Sayori?
Whatever you say, cherry hater.
Oh, come on! Sayori, I actually like cherries. I was just saying that to help demonstrate.
What the heck? I've been duped!
You've been bamboozled! I'm sorry, Sayori. I'll make it up to you later. How about a cherry sundae?
You are welcome to dupe me anytime, my beloved president.
Why do you sound quiet?
Oh, sorry, I'm away from my mic. Buying your people's loyalty. How deplorable.
Oh, like you would turn down a free sundae, Yuri. You were certainly a fan of those cupcakes I brought in the other week.
That was... I was reading and not keeping track of them.
Oh, that's enough. We're getting off topic. So, now that we have the gist of it, how about we try it with something more relevant to the club? Like manga, right?
Yeah,
let's try to have a productive discussion about our differences in opinion. Yuri, do you want to start?
Well, I'd rather not, no.
Aw, how come?
Well, because I don't see how anything productive can come from that. It's just going to start a fight.
No, it'll be fine. That's why I'm here to moderate. Let's just have a calm and rational discussion. Yeah, give me a little more credit. I'm not a child. You don't have to coddle my feelings. I always think it's more respectable to just speak your mind.
Respectable. Yuri's expression changes at that word. As Monika recalls, being respected was the crux of the matter for Yuri.
Well, putting the exercise isn't exactly like...
It's fine. I have nothing against anyone personally. You're entitled to enjoy whatever it is you like. I just prefer more depth and nuance in my reading material. I look for stories that are imaginative and sophisticated beyond the surface level.
Well, that's just a misunderstanding then. I thought you were going to say that manga is for children or something. Like, I don't hear enough of that. But there's plenty of neat manga.
I'm not clueless about manga. I've read my own fair share when I was younger.
What? Are you serious? How come you never told me?
Because I'm past that point in my life, and I really prefer not to revisit it. I prefer more mature things. Don't say that.
Oh, that was an attack. Excuse me? Okay, hold on. Can I jump in here? Let's try to keep things subjective. Yuri, you gotta calm down. Because if you imply that manga is immature...
I was speaking rather calmly. It's just a poor choice of words.
If you imply that manga is immature, then you aren't implying that someone is immature for being into it. Well, maybe it's immature to judge people for having different tastes than you. Natsuki?
Nobody's immature. I've read Natsuki's manga and Yuri's fantasy, and I love them both in their own way.
Okay. It's great that you like it, but I'm still find it boring. Boring isn't a subjective. Okay, it bores me. That's subjective. But, I mean, the thing about...
This is ridiculous. Do you see why I didn't want to... Do you see why I didn't want to participate in this? I knew it was going to make people upset.
I'm not upset. Like I said, I don't care about what other people think. But I always got the impression that you secretly looked down upon me, so I'm glad my suspicions were confirmed.
That's not true at all. You're making assumptions. You can't blame me for getting defensive when nobody ever has the least bit of respect for the things that I'm into. The only thing I look down upon is when people make fun of me for just being myself and trying to mind my own business.
Have you looked in the mirror? Tell me again what respect after calling all my interests immature.
You can't... Please stop. Please. You don't mean the things you're saying right now. Let's just be friends.
I didn't mean for this to happen.
Well, it did. So please don't invite yourself to try and solve other people's problems next time, okay? Yuri's piercing words sent the club room into a choked silence as she gathers her things. She leaves.
Holy shit. I've never heard her sound like that before. She must have been so pissed. Well, you weren't very nice either, so... I was just saying.
How did this happen?
It's my fault. Yuri wasn't wrong. I shouldn't have tried to moderate a conflict when I know how bad I am at dealing with conflicts. It was a really stupid thing for me to do.
It's nobody's fault, and it wasn't stupid. Everyone in the club is a nice person. Nobody would have expected this. But I guess we're sensitive about the things we really love.
Honestly, she kind of brought it upon herself. Like I said, I don't care if you're not into manga, but if you actually look down on other people for it, that's kind of the point I was trying to make in the first place. It's not about sugarcoating things, it's about just recognizing and understanding our differences. Okay, but here's the thing about that. Yuri actually looks down. She's fucking taller than you, what do you expect?
Not that looking down on, keep reading.
It has nothing to do with her word choice or anything like that. So I see what you're trying to do, but I really think the problem here is her. Not just like the way we talk to each other, right? I mean...
Yuri isn't like that. She's a lot sweeter than you're giving her credit for. I'm sure she'll be reflecting on this. I actually think everybody should.
You'll be fine. I'll figure something out. Wow. I'm just like saying that instinctively. I'm just setting myself up to cause more problems. This wasn't your fault, Monika. You don't have to beat yourself up over it. If you ask me, it's good that the truth finally came out. Because I can just move on now.
But...
It's fine, I promise. Let's just get our mind off this, okay? In fact, it's a good opportunity to read some manga without having to worry about fitting Yuri's superiority complex.
Okay, she definitely doesn't have that.
Yeah, she literally
Don't be mean. I'll talk or read manga or whatever you want, but don't be mean to my friends, okay?
Sorry. I'm just bitter. Everything will be okay. I mean, I don't have the answers, but I at least know that we're all good people and don't want to hurt each other. This will be a learning experience.
Monika says that, but her uneasiness is given away by how much she has to force the reassuring tone in her voice. This was bound to happen eventually. Natsuki and Yuri have always engaged with each other the least out of anyone, and this is the reason. Sayori and Natsuki proceed to distract themselves with manga. Monika sighs to herself, unable to shake her worried thoughts. Will the club really have to just come to terms with the fact that some members will be incompatible with each other? Monika desperately doesn't want to admit that, but she knows Sayori doesn't either. For once, a solution doesn't seem to be in sight. For now.
Delicious.
A new day arrives. Sayori arrives at the clubroom earlier than usual. That is, not late. As she enters, it appears to be empty still. So, she sits down at the desk and pulls out a sheet of paper primed to jot down her thoughts. Sayori has made a habit of scribbling her thoughts and feelings onto paper whenever possible, as it tends to serve her as her best inspiration for poetry.
I'm almost out of water.
I still haven't refilled my water. My heart feels vacant because the ship sailed away.
Yo.
I wasn't reading about ship sailing away. I mean, Natsuki?
What was this about a ship?
Natsuki pokes her head out from behind the closet door.
Sorry, didn't mean to scare ya. But it would have been a lot more awkward if I didn't say anything. I doubt you want me listening in on your poetry thing.
Yeah, thanks for realizing that.
Should I let you finish that up then?
Oh no, it wasn't. I mean, I just do whatever it's convenient. Whenever it's convenient. You're not interrupting.
Where's Monika, by the way?
Oh, she's out in the hallway.
Huh? Why?
Well, just in case she runs into Yuri. Sometimes Yuri is too nervous to come into the club by herself, so...
Ow. I see. Jeez, does Yuri let things bother her for that long?
She can't control her feelings. For some people, it's really hard to cope when you get a bad thought in your head. Maybe you can distract yourself for a little while, but as soon as it's just you and your thoughts again, it comes back. Hmm?
I just want us to have a normal club meeting. It's a lot easier to pretend like it never happened if we all just ignore it and move on.
Okay, that's not good, by the way. That's not very good.
I guess it really depends on the situation.
I guess, but when it's something like this, not
yeah,
good.
it's something like this, yeah. I don't want to be bothered by this.
Say it's something more serious, then yeah, that's easily understandable, but this? No.
Yeah. It's so stupid. Her opinion of me doesn't matter anyway.
Also
Besides, it makes me feel really guilty, and I hate that too.
It's okay to have feelings. It doesn't make you weak.
What do you know?
Never mind. Let's figure this out together.
Fine, ignore my question. Only because you're good at this stuff anyway.
Let's try to come up with a happy scene. Maybe this will help us understand where your bad feelings are coming from.
Well, I was happy with the way things were before we had that conversation yesterday.
What part of the conversation made you upset? Was it Yuri being mean about the manga?
Maybe. I doubt it, though. Because my friends and other people make fun of manga all the time, but I just brush it off and ignore them. But something about it really got me this time, and I hate that I'm letting it happen.
Is it because it came from Yuri?
No, why would that matter? I mean, well, maybe. I hate that she thinks she's so much better than me, just because she likes to pretend to be all sophisticated.
That's
that's
not
what
she thinks at all.
At least other people decide that they don't like me, or manga, or whatever. But Yuri acts like she's too good to give it even a chance. Didn't she say she outgrew it?
Yes. I'm sorry. Everyone deserves a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you give Yuri's book a chance?
After this? Obviously not.
So many contradictions just flew in the door right now.
And out the window.
What about before this?
Well, I would until I got bored, which wouldn't take very long. But if you actually keep an open mind, that it's not hard to realize that a story can be deep and meaningful without being needlessly complicated.
I see. But you know, I like Yuri's books.
Yeah, and you like manga more, right? Oh boy.
Are you fucking kidding me? I like them both. I like them in different ways, but I like them both. I mean, the manga, it's really honest and fun and easy to just let go with it. And the fantasy has a lot to interpret and uncover, and it's really rewarding to have some good quiet time together with it. But the most important thing about it is that both the manga and the fantasy are true to themselves. So I love them both, and I think there's room for both of them to be in the same club together. And I just feel like maybe they have more in common than you would think.
Oh, here's a scene. How do you get along with everyone so well? I always get into fights with people. Like, first it was with Monika when I was new to the club, and then it was you, and now it's Yuri. And I'm always like, oh, that person is being such a jerk, and if they just realize that, then we could at least get along. But nobody else has this problem. I just keep running away from the reality that everyone's just a jerk to me because nobody likes me. And I don't know why, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hate it.
Natsuki. Sayori puts a comforting hand on Natsuki's shoulder. You're a wonderful person. You deserve to be loved as much as everyone else. Everyone has different ways they like to communicate, you know? And sometimes that makes it harder for us to understand each other. I think that sometimes we get lucky and we make friends who are really good at the same kinds of communication, and it feels like you magically connect with them. But other times, even if both people are really nice, it's easy for them to misunderstand each other or get the communication wrong. And you definitely got the communication wrong, let me tell you that.
Hardcore.
It's something that Yuri struggles a lot with, too. It can be really hard. It takes a lot of, like, reflection and self-awareness. And courage. And vulnerability.
I am bad at that one. Vulnerability. I always have to be the strongest.
What do you mean? Tell me about that part of you.
Well, it sounds stupid, but I'm really used to people being mean to me. Like my friends, and I guess my dad. Like when I don't get good grades or even stupid things like if my room isn't clean. So what I'm gonna do? Cry about it? If I let myself get upset, then it's just letting them win. I'm better than that. I'm better than all of them. So things always have to be everyone else's fault. It feels like if something goes wrong, then and there's even a tiny hint that it might be my fault, then I just get really angry and I find ways to blame everything else instead.
Do you see yourself as better than Yuri?
I don't. If I said that, then I would just sound really full of myself.
No, our thoughts and our feelings are two different things. If we don't like our feelings, we have to understand them, and if we want to learn more about themselves. That's a part of vulnerability, you know, accepting that we have feelings that we don't like.
Oh, sorry. I hate that. My feelings make me a bad person. Because my feelings just want to tell me that I'm so much better than she is. That she's a judgmental know-it-all who's stuck in her edgy phase, and that I'm just way above that garbage. But I'm terrible for feeling that way.
You're not terrible. Well, that kind of feelings are kind of bad, not gonna lie. You are not your feelings.
But
you are not your feelings. I will say it a third time. Say that to yourself out loud.
No. Fine. I am not my feelings.
Louder!
I am not my feelings. Are you happy now, Bet?
Louder!
I can't scream.
Carl Weezer, you cannot be in the play if we can't hear you. Quoting
I know
Jimmy
that scene.
Neutron.
Yes, I remember Jimmy Neutron, yes.
The way that I like to picture it is that those feelings are like your roommate. You live in the same house and you gotta see each other every day. And if you can ignore each other most of the time, you're gonna run into each other every now and then, and it's gonna make you feel like poop. So the other option is to get to know each other. You can communicate and learn from each other, and maybe help each other change for the better. Does that help you understand?
How do you know so much about this stuff anyway?
She's a very social person. I just have a roommate that can be really hard to get. Oh.
Depression? But you're like the happiest person I know.
Oh. I am not my feelings.
Sayori, what do you mean by that? I want to be a good person like you.
Aw, you little sweetheart. We're all good people. You, and Yuri, and Monika. And I think Yuri will eventually learn that about you. Natsuki remains silent, feeling a little overwhelmed. Despite Sayori's kind reassurance, a complicated mixture of pain and sadness seems to fill her, as though flowing from a wound inside her. Was it a result of her vulnerability? No, it wasn't as though she was inflicted. She was inflicted a wound after becoming vulnerable. It was as though she began to rediscover an old wound, one that cannot simply be bandaged and left alone any longer.
I don't think it's going to be Monika and Yuri next. Yep. Yuri, what are you doing all the way over there? I was looking for you.
Please don't yell at me.
Oh, I'm not going to yell at you. I just wanted to tell you that I'm sorry for what happened yesterday. It was unfair for me to put everyone on the spot like that. Next time, I won't just try to jump in and solve everyone's problems. I guess it's a bad habit of mine.
You're not mad at me?
Oh no, I'm absolutely fuming, but
I'm furious.
Oh, I'm furious. I'm pissed. I thought you were the one mad at me, though.
I was so awful yesterday. Yuri curls up, recalling the details of the argument. I can't even have a normal conversation without saying something wrong and making everyone upset.
Hold on, that's not what happened at all. Let's talk about this, okay?
Yuri pauses for a second, then manages a nod. Monika takes a seat next to her on the staircase. I'm having a lot of negative thought patterns, and I can't get away from them.
What kind of negative thought patterns?
Like, everyone hates me, especially Natsuki.
Aw, that's terrible. I don't think Natsuki hates you.
How do you know?
Well, because...
Monika thinks back to the time that she herself found herself in an altercation with Natsuki, and how a display of maturity from Monika was enough for Natsuki to revalidate her own feelings as well.
I think Natsuki is just naturally defensive when she tries to hide her true feelings. I think she acts mean when she feels that she needs to protect herself. But, you know, she's really not a bad person. In fact, I think she can be really thoughtful and considerate. She's just, well, I guess the way it works is that she wants to receive some degree of kindness first before she feels comfortable returning it.
Oh. But that means the burden is on me. And I don't know how to say things that make people like me. Every time I open my mouth, I just... Yuri shakes her head at herself and tugs on her hair.
It's okay, Yuri. You don't need to beat yourself up. I think anyone would like you if they had the chance to get to know you.
Well, unfortunately, the opposite is true. That's why I'm not talkative anymore in the first place. Because everyone used to think I was weird and talk about me behind my back. That's just what happens when I draw attention to myself. Natsuki even said she found it more respectable when people speak their mind, so I did, and then she hated me anyway. That wasn't enough to confirm my fears.
But
that was enough to confirm my fears. I said wasn't. I said wasn't.
But Sayuri and I like you, and we've gotten to know you a lot by now, right?
Yuri doesn't seem to have a response.
Hey, what do you think of Natsuki?
I don't think about her.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, that's not really what I meant, really.
I just...
Actually, I think Yuri thought
Keep reading!
I was just wondering if you had an opinion of her.
I do.
And what is it?
Natsuki seems to bring out the worst in me, and I feel really ashamed of it. I like to think of myself as a fairly sophisticated person, so for someone to just treat me like I'm inferior despite my tastes, that's just the worst kind of insult, coming from someone like her, and it makes me think bad about her. But everyone else seems to like her, so the only explanation is that it's me who's doing something wrong again, and my feelings about her are wrong, and I'm wrong to get upset over something so childish and inconsequential.
Oh, Yuri? Feelings are never wrong.
Well, they're not right.
That's the thing. Feelings are never right or wrong, you know? They're just a state of being that we don't always have control over. But that doesn't mean they have to control us. I feel like that's something I learned around when I first started the club. We can hate ourselves for feeling a certain way about things. Or we can, you know, just acknowledge that they exist and try to understand them better. I could never be mad at you for just feeling a certain way. It's about how you handle them. And I think working through feelings is a great opportunity for teamwork.
Yuri wears a dejected expression. You make it sound so easy. You're so mature, and so good with people. I feel like such a child in comparison.
Oh, Yuri. I'm far from perfect. But these are learned skills. They didn't come naturally to me either. It's really hard to, like, reflect on yourself and separate your feelings from your thoughts.
I just want to be a good person.
Well, I think it takes a good person to get this far.
That's not good enough. I want to be able to communicate it to her.
You mean communicate?
That's what I said, didn't I?
I have no idea what you said.
I want to be able to communicate it to her. There.
I have no idea what you said.
Communicate what? How I feel. How it makes me feel frustrated and upset when she's so negative and dismissive of the things that mean so much to me. And how it reminds me of me. Because I know what it's like to feel misunderstood and angry at everyone. I know that telling yourself you're better than everyone else is just a defense mechanism. We're just people. We're fragile and unstable. But I'm just tired of that getting in the way. I can't stand it when the peace is disturbed like this.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, you can't focus on your reading when the peace is disturbed, right?
Because the literature club should be happy for everyone.
You secretly like Natsuki, don't you, Yuri?
Monika looks at Yuri in adoration.
I feel like Sayori must be rubbing off on me. Because I really want to hug you right now. Show the picture. Please give us a picture of those two hugging. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable.
No, I mean, well, if you wanted to, then I wouldn't mind, really, so... Monika pulls Yuri into a short embrace.
You're so gentle. And I love when you communicate your feelings. I feel lucky to get to see that side of you. And I'm sure Natsuki will, too.
I'm going to write her a letter.
Oh, a letter? What a great idea.
Just because I'm not good at talking, especially under pressure. I always let my feelings get the best of me, and I forget to say all the important things and say things I don't mean.
Well, I think a letter would be wonderful. Such a nice way to communicate.
Yuri's face hardens with determination.
It was not very effective.
People don't naturally gravitate towards me like they do for you and Sayori. My personality just isn't suited for that, and I wouldn't want it to be. But something I've learned is that friendships don't always just magically appear out of thin air. For instance, I would never have seen myself making friends with someone like Sayori. We're opposite in a lot of ways. But I'm friends with her because she puts so much effort into understanding me so that we can get along. I think it was the same with you. You both gave me a lot of time and patience. I wonder if she feels the same way.
Natsuki?
Yuri nods. I always thought if I wanted to make more friends, I had to be somebody that I'm not. That there's a type of person or a magical formula that I have to follow in order to make someone like me. And that's just like me to think that. Always so occupied with myself that I fail to understand other people. Yuri shakes her head. Friendship happens when you think about the other person, when you offer time and effort to understand them, and respect them, and trust that they also want to be a good person. That's what I learned through my observations in the literature club.
Observations?
Monika is caught by surprise. Yuri has always kept to herself so much that it's so unusual to hear her suddenly talking about the club like this. But Yuri gently smiles to herself. You always let me listen to your thoughts about people, Sayori too, and it makes me happy because I learn a lot of things.
That's so sweet. I had no idea it meant that much to you.
Monika never thought much of it, but in the past weeks, Yuri always seemed to be especially attentive when it came to the problems and concerns of others, always wanting to listen and learn more about her friends in the club. It's true, Sayori and Monika are naturally more comfortable with other people and can more easily work through situations of conflict, but that doesn't make them better people. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses and the capacity to improve. And the first step towards improving oneself is reflection and self-awareness. It's something that Yuri never gave herself enough credit for, but that Monika can recognize as an incredible trait. And with that, her confidence in the club is restored.
It didn't give us an image, and oh, because it's not over yet. Okay.
A very shy girl with long, pretty hair is wandering the bustling lunchtime halls, her fists pressed into her collarbone. When she finds the literature club president's classroom, she stands at the door, glancing all around her before peering inside. Monika is sitting and chatting with a group of unknown friends. Yeah, as expected, this was a bad idea after all. Suddenly, Monika glances towards the door, making the girl panic and duck out of sight. Before she can regain composure and decide for sure to leave, the classroom door gently opens.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be a brand new girl and it was going to throw us in for a loop.
I thought this was a flashback or something.
That's what I thought. Yuri? What a surprise to see you during lunch.
Yuri squeaks a response. Please help me.
What? Is everything okay?
Yuri shakes her head. I don't know how to write letters.
Thank goodness. I thought there was some kind of emergency.
Monika briefly glances over her shoulder at her other friends.
Do you want some help? We can go find an empty classroom or something.
Is that okay? I feel bad taking you away from your friends.
It's totally fine. Besides, they were boring me and they're just a bunch of losers anyways. I promise. We weren't really doing anything.
Are we sure they even exist?
One second, let me just talk to my imaginary friends.
Not that kind of thing. We know what this game is about. That's why I'm asking.
We weren't really doing anything. 1 second.
Monika trogs back into her classroom, says something like, I gotta go, to her friends, and then grabs a pen off her desk before returning to Yuri.
Okay, let's go find somewhere quiet. These guys are really stupid.
Yuri nods and follows Monika as the two of them set off.
We're going on our trip in our favorite rocket
ship, zooming through the sky.
Skies, little Einsteins. That will always be a catchy tune. I don't care how old you are.
How are you today?
Huh? Me?
Well, yes.
Oh gosh, sorry. I was just caught off guard. I'm doing well today. Just tired, and a long purple-haired girl interrupted me during my lunchtime, and I also never seem to get enough sleep during the week.
How come?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'm just easily distracted. I get really sucked into things and start neglecting the time.
I get that.
I get that too.
Me too. I do that too.
She seems so excited to say that. She wanted to join in. Hey, this classroom is empty. Let's go in here.
After peering inside, Monika opens a classroom door and two of them enter.
Wait, it's during lunch. How are most of the classrooms empty?
I guess most people are just at different places.
Alright, yeah, you're right.
Yuri's moment of relaxation ends. She watches as Monika pulls two chairs up to the same desk, then obeys as Monika beckons her to take a seat. She stares down at the empty desk.
You nervous?
I don't want to do this.
That fucking scared me. We don't have to. We can come up with something else.
Yuri shakes her head. It's my chance to do something good. I need to take initiative.
Gosh, you must be really determined. I know how hard it is for you to step out of your comfort zone. I'm sure to encourage you. I'll be sure to encourage you. I'm sure to do something to encourage you.
Yuri pushes through anxiety and grabs a handful of lined paper from her notebook. Then she picks up her pen. Oh.
Look how shy she is holding her hair.
I know.
Hey, you're left-handed? Hey, you're left-handed. That's neat.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to worry about bumping your arm. How? Oh, yeah, just her arm. Is that it?
Shut up. Monika playfully rubs her shoulder against Yuri's.
Sorry, I'm just being silly, I guess. That ship has sailed. Anyway, how about we start by listing... I saw that too. Anyway, how about we start by listing the different things you want to say to her?
Yuri thinks. I feel embarrassed all of a sudden.
Aw, it's okay, as I stare into your eyes.
Your right eye.
That left eye is gonna see some things that you don't want it to.
Shut up!
How about some of the things you said to me yesterday?
But, never mind. I guess I'll try.
Aw, she frowned.
Yuri thinks for a moment longer, her tension evident. Then, she writes the word reflection. This is about my reflection on our behavior. The key question is why we act like this towards each other, but I've been able to separately be friends with Sayori and Monika.
That's me!
It just took you long enough.
Sorry, I got a message.
Yes, it is. So, Yuri thinks. I've been able to befriend the two of you because you've taken the time to understand my needs and respect my interests.
Mm-hmm. The same goes for Natsuki, too. We started off pretty hostile to each other because I was so worried about getting what I wanted, but she just wanted to be respected more than anything else.
You two start pretty hostile, alright?
Oh, very hostile. Once I stopped making it all about me, I was able to do the same for her.
I want to do that too.
So, what kind of things do you want to do for her?
I want to do the same things for her that I like to receive. I like it when people respond positively to the things I talk about and not just brush me off. I like it when my feelings are taken seriously. And I like when you and Sayori trust that I want to be a good person, even when I'm not doing a good job at it.
Well, Yuri, it sounds like to me you might have a little crush on Natsuki. Let's go ahead and write those things down.
No. Yuri writes some things down.
Oh, I'm sorry, Yuri. This game is scripted to where
She's not smiling anymore. This is all wrong.
Oh, and there's writing on the paper.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. My mic.
Yeah, that just appeared.
No, my mic's in the way of it, so I can't actually see the very bottom of my monitor.
Oh. I think the most important thing to remember here is that Natsuki is feeling vulnerable. So we should make sure that the letter puts her first. So it's hard when you're feeling hurt, but it never helps to just tell someone all the things that they're doing wrong. I think first you have to make sure that they know you're ready to respect them and listen to them, and admit the things that you feel could do better. Then finally, you ask what you would like in return. How does that sound for structure? It could be 3 paragraphs, one for each of those points.
I like that. My thoughts were so disorganized, I had no idea how to come up with any kind of structure. You're so amazing at these things.
You've done so much more than I have, you know? You spent so much time reflecting and being open-minded. That's the hardest thing for anyone to do. All I'm doing is helping you put it on a piece of paper. So, I think you're the amazing one.
Monika gives Yuri's hand a quick squeeze. But she lets go. She's caught by surprise when Yuri curls her fingers to hook Monika's hand in place. For a while they sit like that in silence, save for the occasional scratching of Yuri's pen against the paper. Yesterday you told me something that I'm thinking about a lot.
What was that?
The thing about how feelings aren't right or wrong, and that they're just a state of being we need to come to terms with. It made me think about how a person's behavior isn't always just how they decide to be. It's also made up of their past experiences and their insecurities. I think that helps me see other people as actual people, rather than as insignificant side characters who are out to get me somehow.
Is that how you felt about Natsuki?
Yuri nods. But, in reality, everyone is always trying their best, and everyone wants to be happy. Monika peers over at Yuri's paper, but to her surprise, Yuri pulls it in closer, partially covering it with her arm.
I have to be able to read it to help you out, you know.
It's okay. My thoughts are a lot more organized now after being able to talk to you about it now. Now that I'm actually putting it on paper, I realized I prefer others not to read it. Yuri laughs softly to herself, a rare expression.
I'm kind of glad to hear that, actually. I somehow keep finding ways to butt into this whole thing. I've done enough damage. But it's also been so wonderful talking about this. I mean, I always thought you were really smart, but...
Yuri smiles. I will always be terrible at these things. People are just so incomprehensible to me. I'll never get the hang of being one. But listening to you so much has really helped me make sense of some things. So just don't call it damage, please. Monika gives Yuri a gentle smile.
I'm pretty sure that's more than just a gentle smile.
I can't believe I came to this club looking for fantasy geeks, and all I got was real friends who value me.
Is that a joke?
I'd feel better if it wasn't a joke. Damn it!
Joke's on you, bitch! I still can't tell with you.
Sorry.
No, I love it. Please, never change.
As you wish. We're almost out of time.
Oh, I opened that window by accident. There we go. Will you be able to finish?
Before the end of the day, probably. But I don't want to come to the club the same day that Natsuki reads it. I'm too shy.
I can give it to her instead, if you like.
Yuri nods. As long as you promise not to read it.
Nope. That's it. Nope.
You're so mean.
Fine. Of course I promise.
Thank you.
Have my fingers crossed.
I don't see them.
That's because it's hiding behind the speech bubble.
No, actually I could see them. They're not crossed.
You can't. You can only see your thumb.
No, I can see them if you look really closely.
I am looking very closely, and guess what? I can't even see it.
Look harder. It's there. I'll message you when it's ready.
Oh, God damn it, you can. Fuck off.
Monika nods.
Good luck. I'm here if you need me.
Yuri returns a nod, and the two depart.
Now I gotta go delete someone for saying that my fingers were not crossed.